Uh, uh, uh.
It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's a geek.
Now I just finished Daredevil. I watched this show, the whole show, within a week's time. And I have a regular 9-to-5 job, alright? This show, for the most part, was really outstanding. It had its flaws, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. And the flaws I see were from the second half of season 2 to the middle of season 3, in my opinion. I'm gonna break down how I felt about Daredevil, talk about some characters, and talk about, you know, how the story was, some things I think that could have been fixed, and etc. So I'm gonna go back season by season. Season one was a masterpiece. So season 1, it focused on the relationship between Daredevil and Kingpin. Kingpin comes from being this person who is not really in the limelight to being in the limelight because Daredevil outs him. Now, the great thing that the writers did with this show for the first season is they made you think, well, Daredevil is just as bad as Kingpin. If you look at it, they were saying some of the same things. They both want to keep the city safe. It's both their city. That was a great thing for the writers and the showrunners to do, because it made you think and it made you wonder. And I was watching this and I was like, bro, Kingpin might be one of the most well-written characters in the MCU now, because they're in the MCU. Because it's that Thanos ideology. You know how everybody is saying, well, Thanos is right. Something bad happens in the world right now, and people say, well, maybe Thanos is right. It was the same thing here, where this stuff was happening, and Kingpin would be like, hey, I gotta fix this. And Daredevil would be like, hey, I gotta stop Kingpin. They're doing the exact same thing, except one major thing that distinguishes Kingpin from Daredevil. And it's the fact that because of Daredevil being a Catholic, and he knows how his anger and his rage is, lost his father, lost his we thought he lost his mother. Because of that, he doesn't want to kill, because it might make him something to where he doesn't want to be, and he might go too far back, which we kind of see a hint of that in season 3. Season 1, from my perspective, was great. I don't really see any issues with season 1. Season 1 was kind of our introduction to Kingpin. We saw Kingpin's philosophy. We saw how his mind works. We saw how he became who he is with his trauma, killing his dad. One of the first times we see Kingpin is we see him looking at that painting on the wall. And at least from my knowledge, when I was watching this, I'm like, bro, this is a white painting. What is so great and so amazing about this white painting? And then the showrunners, the writers, they pull it back together, and they say, you want to know why this white painting is amazing? It's because this is the same exact white paint, or this looks very similar to the white wall Kingpin had to look at when his father would beat on his mom, and his dad would tell him to be a better person and to do this and to do that. That was great. So chef's kiss on that. Season 2. Unlike most people, I actually enjoyed season 2 more than season 3 as a whole, for the most part. Now we're going to start getting to our characters, our side characters. The side characters being Foggy and Karen. Season 2 made me hate Foggy. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you already watched the show. The point when Foggy got shot, I was hoping that he was dead. Foggy in season 2, he learns that Daredevil is Matt, or Matt is Daredevil. He spit the whole season, crying about how the law is the right way and you shouldn't be Daredevil because you're getting hurt and da. And it just became very overbearing. Now, the showrunner of Daredevil Born Again, he even said this was a major flaw in the show for him as well watching, because we got it beat in our head time and time again that Daredevil shouldn't be a hero. He's a vigilante. His way isn't working. We got that beat over time and time again. And then when we watch it, the more we realize his way is working. His way is the only reason why Fisk had got locked up. His way is the only reason helped Fisk get re-locked up in season 3. We'll talk about that. From that point of view, that was very bad. I also got to talk about Ben from season 1. Ben from season 1 was great, and I'm glad Kingpin killed him, because it made the show more real. But anyway, Karen is that prototypical white girl character in the show, in a superhero movie, who has no powers, no abilities. She wants to play the superhero. She's a dang great investigator. But the thing she was doing, there's one thing that really pissed me off that she did in season 3. But the whole thing with her meeting with James Wesley and all that, she has to kill James. That was That might have happened in season 1, I can't remember. But that was the thing where I'm like, Carrie, stay in your place, stay in your role. You investigated greatly, cool, but in this investigation, you was putting yourself in danger that was very, very much unnecessary for most of the point. So season 2, we focus on Nobu more so, and Punisher, and we focused on Elektra. Now I hope my girlfriend will watch this. Boy, Elektra was fine. So this is when we're starting to see, okay, they were both trained by Styx. Elektra has kind of like that raging thing, but she let that raging monster take over her at a young age, unlike Matt Murdock. She was a killer from a young age. So her way of doing things was she has to kill. And seeing Daredevil's love and hate for Elektra was very great on the writers. Because you know, this is the only woman at this point in time. We thought it was Karen. Karen don't know nothing. This is the only woman who understands Daredevil for who he really is. The only person who really knows Matt, and yet he couldn't be with her. I thought that was great storytelling. Punisher, man. Punisher, watch the season 2. Punisher had me thinking, I gotta watch the show, bro. The way this dude was senselessly killing everybody who was a threat to him. And I mean everybody. Now we're gonna talk about one of my flaws right here. Daredevil, why does nobody shoot guns in your show? Nobody is shooting guns. I mean, you got all these gangsters, all these agencies, and they barely shooting a gun. Daredevil ain't nothing but a dude with super senses, which we're gonna. I got a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk about that too. Seeing how Punisher was, his character, the stuff he had to go through, the stuff that made him who he is, that was amazing. The latter points of season 2. I don't know. I don't know, man. I felt like that's when they more so really started to say that, oh, Daredevil's a bad person. Matt, you shouldn't be doing this. Matt, you're this. I've had some bad friends. I had some people who I thought was friends. I probably had like 5 friends now, and I talk to them on a daily basis in my group chat. I've had a lot of friends. Someone who stole from me. Someone who did a lot of weird stuff. And I see this, I'm like, bro, y'all are terrible friends. Matt lost everything in his life, so he thought. And the main thing Foggy and Karen are concerned about is how Matt isn't there for Matt as a friend. This whole show, no one cared about how Matt felt. The whole show, not even his friends. They were very selfish. And that point was insinuated throughout the whole season of season 2, especially the latter parts. Let's talk about Daredevil's powers, and this is gonna mark it for season 2. It's fun. I love watching this show because as people are starting to figure out that Matt really isn't blind, it's like you start watching it and you realize everything that he's doing to keep up his blind act is really hilarious. Matt will be walking with the walking stick, and you can tell he's just like, it's so funny because he knows he doesn't need it, obviously, but he's trying to keep up the act. So it's not like, blind people don't really be like tap 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 to see where they can go. Daredevil is just, it was so funny. I like his abilities. Highlighted his abilities were really great, and this is gonna be one thing I noticed in the She-Hulk show with the Daredevil episode. He looks very different from the MCU to now. In the MCU, he's doing way more acrobatic stuff. In this show, he really wasn't doing too much acrobatic things except for like the little flying flips he was doing. Moving on to season 3. I had a lot of issues with season 3. I'm gonna be honest, season 3 was my least favorite season. And the only reason why I'm not gonna trash it as much as it deserves to be trashed for me is because the last couple episodes saved it for me. And by last couple, I mean episode 11 and 12. Every time Agent Nadine popped up on screen, I rolled my eyes. Because y'all, season 2, find out that Fisk basically is paying off the NYPD. The NYPD. And Daredevil has this building fall on him, apparently, which I don't remember seeing that in the end of season 2. But they say, oh, he had this building fall on him and da-da-da-da. And months go by, they think Matt is dead, and he's not dead. He comes back, and the first thing, as I said, his friends are selfish. Matt, why didn't you tell me you were here sooner? Not one, how are you? Not one, hey, are you okay? It was only, Matt, you should have told me earlier that you were here. Matt. Especially from Foggy. Foggy was having literal dreams about Matt being alive. And as soon as he found out he was alive, he whined and cried again. I'm like, dude, some bad friends. We find out that it's the FBI now all of a sudden taking care of Kingpin when it was the NYPD the first time. And in the second season, they said that Kingpin had used all his funds trying to make protection in the prison, but now all of a sudden he just has all his money back. I didn't understand that. So it was a little conflict from season 2 to season 3. It didn't carry over well at all. The reason I didn't like season 3 as much is because they could have made us care for Nadeem less if you showed us less. I'm watching season 3. I'm like, bruh, is this Daredevil season 3 or Nadeem and Karen season? And up until like the last 2-3 episodes, Daredevil was barely in the show. It's all focused on Nadeem. I don't care about Nadeem. I don't care about your family. I don't care about none of that. So because I was forcibly fed all this stuff about Nadeem and the FBI, when it came time for him and his for him to die, and I'm like, finally. Like, bro, you are annoying to me. And I'm watching this, right? I'm watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, the FBI, Fisk shouldn't really be able to play the FBI anyway, but it's a comic book show. I called it. The first couple episodes of season 3, I was like, okay, obviously getting played. There's no reason my Fisk would snitch and not get something from it. Everybody in the show starts to see that, besides Nadeem. Everybody. That whole thing was so idiotic. I'm like, bro, I don't care about you. I don't care about your family. I don't care about none of it. And then Bullseye. The Bullseye thing was so bad because we watching this, right? And we don't really understand why Matt doesn't have his suit. Just all of a sudden, he just doesn't have it. And it's not like Bullseye took Daredevil's suit. The dude who had Daredevil's suit just made him another one. Just made Bullseye one. I'm thinking, okay, Matt got the suit taken from Bullseye. No, it's a different suit. So this whole, I'm like, this is so stupid. I like Bullseye's character, but they don't really say why he's able to have that aim or nothing. They're working on his body. He's about to be like a superhuman type thing. The flashback is like, oh, he can just pitch. He's sitting the same place in the wall and making a hole in the wall, so he has great aim. But that doesn't explain why he should be able to do shoo, 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 and hit everything accurately. I wasn't really getting that. But it was really cool. It was really cool watching him do that. But like I said, let's talk about the Karen thing. And this is gonna be the last thing I say, because I'm not trying to make this video be super long. It was Karen's bright idea to go into Fisk's hotel that he owned, by the way, that the FBI just didn't know that he owned it. Another bad writing. She thought provoking him to kill her would be the right thing to do. This is the same FBI who was on Fisk's payroll. Even if Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, killed Karen, it wouldn't even matter. And I'm thinking, bruh, you telling him about James Wesley? What is that gonna do? And the rest of the season, oh, I told Fisk, I gotta run. I'm thinking, you stupid idiot. You did that for literally no reason. You thought that was a smart idea to do. And I'm watching this and I'm glad Foggy said, you thought that was smart. And she's like, yeah, you know, that was my brightest moments. That's essentially what she said. Even Matt said the same thing. I'm like, bro, you can't be this slow. You are super smart with this investigative stuff, but you do the dumbest things. Another flaw with season 3 for me. Way too many characters. This goes back to Nadeem. We go season 1 and season 2, not knowing that Foggy has a family shop. Not knowing that. All of a sudden, he just has the Nelson shop now. It's just a whole bunch of stuff that just randomly appeared. Oh, now we gotta care about the FBI, randomly appeared. Now we gotta care about Nadeem. Now we gotta care about Nadeem's boss. Now we gotta care about Fixer person. Now we gotta care about Bullseye. Now we gotta care about the DA. And I'm like, bro, it's just too much. It wouldn't have been a problem if that had been the point from the first episode of season 1. But for you to try to make us care about for all these people, even the Karen flag, I'm like, bro, it's just too much. For Marvel to have us try to care about all these people in one season was terrible for me. But the fight, and this is one thing I'm gonna say too. Last thing, I promise. Everyone talks about the hallway scene in Daredevil. The hallway scene is not even a top 5 fight, top 10 fight in this show. I'm like, bro, the hallway fight scene is cool. But the fights were also what happened to the lady in the ER that Daredevil's banging on. What happened to her? She was a great character. There was a fight in the hospital that was great. The ending fight was great. The fights with Punisher was great. I'm like, Why are people saying the hallway scene of all things in Daredevil is the best thing? And my only opinion is that most people just watch the first couple episodes of Daredevil season 1 and then watch anything else. The fights with Elektra, like what? I mean, what are you talking about? I watched this show because I'm interested in Daredevil Born Again, and honestly, I have to give it an 8. I'll give it an 8 out of 10, 7.5, 8 out of 10. It was good. I felt like there was some easy things that could have been fixed, but other than that, it was a great show. That's all I got for y'all. We hit 400 subscribers. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. If you love the video, like the video. Don't love the video, so like the video. On the road to 1K. I appreciate everybody who like my content, share my content. Without further ado, I'm out. Peace.
I understand that you niggas be starving, but taking your life really isn't the hardest. Breathe in, breathe out, inhale, exhale, can't fail.